I think the Steelers will be better next year without Antonio Brown.
After Antonio Brown's dramatic exit from his final NFL game in 2022, many fans still held on to hope that he might turn things around and make a comeback. But that hope has been shattered by a shocking new controversy. Rumor has it that after his involvement in a disturbing incident at a strip club, the NFL has reacted with the harshest punishment there is. So what exactly happened that night? What did Antonio do to provoke such a severe punishment? Let's get into it. The rise and fall of an NFL superstar. In the high-stakes world of professional football, few careers have been as spectacular and as spectacularly controversial as that of Antonio Brown. Once hailed as one of the greatest receivers of the modern era, Brown's journey from the streets of Miami to NFL stardom and his subsequent dramatic fall from grace represents one of the most perplexing narratives in recent sports history. Before we delve into the controversial incident that allegedly led to his lifetime ban, let's understand the man behind the headlines. Brown's NFL career began with an explosive statement. In his very first play in the league, he returned a kickoff for an 89-yard touchdown, immediately establishing himself as a player to watch. This electrifying debut was just the beginning of what would develop into a potential Hall of Fame caliber career. As Brown's star rose, so did his confidence, sometimes to levels that created tension with teammates and coaches. By 2012, having signed a 5-year, $42.5 million contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Brown's self-assurance had reached new heights. Former Steelers safety Ryan Clark later recounted an incident that nearly escalated into a physical confrontation during a practice session. During a one-on-one drill, Brown became agitated at cornerback Keenan Lewis's physical approach to coverage. Brown began shouting at Lewis and the defensive players on the sideline, reportedly declaring, "Don't touch me, I'm the franchise," when defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau intervened, instructing Brown to return to the other side of the field. Brown responded with a verbal tirade, berating and cursing at the respected coach in front of the entire team. This disrespectful display prompted Ryan Clark to step in, threatening Brown and expressing to the coaching staff that they had made a mistake in offering him such a lucrative contract so early in his career. While these incidents revealed early signs of interpersonal conflicts, Brown's career trajectory continued upward, with his on-field performance speaking volumes about his exceptional talent. However, a pivotal moment occurred during a 2015 wildcard playoff game against the Cincinnati Bengals, when Brown received a vicious hit that rendered him unconscious. Brown later stated that he lost consciousness before hitting the ground, and although coaches recalled seeing him smiling and talking on the sideline afterward, Brown had no memory of these interactions. For many observers, this devastating hit would come to be viewed as a turning point in Antonio Brown's life, potentially contributing to the behavioral changes and controversies that would follow. In the years that followed, Brown's relationship with the Steelers organization began to deteriorate. The 2017 season brought more visible signs of frustration. During a Week 4 game, cameras captured Brown's sideline outburst, showing him throwing a Gatorade cooler and yelling at his coaches after not receiving a pass he had expected. His final year with the Steelers in 2018 was particularly tumultuous, marked by public arguments with offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner and increasingly strained relations with quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Off the field, Brown's problems were escalating as well. In October 2018, police responded to a call from Brown reporting a theft at his residence. Upon arrival, officers found an agitated Brown yelling at security personnel, claiming they had conspired against him. The missing items, according to Brown, included a firearm and $80,000 in cash. In his anger, Brown proceeded to destroy his apartment, breaking furniture and throwing items over his balcony, nearly striking a 2-year-old child and his grandfather below. This dangerous behavior resulted in lawsuits from both the child's family and the owner of Brown's luxury condominium. The situation with the Steelers reached a breaking point just before the 2018 season finale. During a walk-through practice, a heated confrontation erupted between Brown and Roethlisberger after Brown ran an incorrect route. Roethlisberger, visibly frustrated, threw the ball to the ground and said, "Get him out of here, get somebody else out here." An enraged Brown grabbed the football and threw it in Roethlisberger's direction before leaving practice. Brown subsequently missed all remaining team practices that week. Remarkably, Brown showed up on game day against the Cincinnati Bengals, expecting to play despite his absences. One Steelers player described the situation as embarrassing and the worst I've seen. Brown left the stadium at halftime, abandoning his team even as their playoff hopes hung in the balance. This behavior, described by sports writer Jason Lencomfora as the third time this season that Brown had gone AWOL on the team, marked the beginning of the end of his tenure with the Steelers. In February 2019, Brown confirmed his departure from the Steelers, tweeting, "Thank you, Steeler Nation, for a big 9 years. Time to move on and forward. New demands. On March 9th, 2019, a trade was finalized, sending Brown to the Oakland Raiders. The move represented a fresh start for the talented but troubled receiver, an opportunity to rewrite his narrative away from the controversies that had plagued his final years in Pittsburgh. However, this new beginning would soon unravel in spectacular fashion, setting the stage for a series of increasingly bizarre incidents that would come to define the latter portion of Brown's NFL journey. His time with the Raiders began inauspiciously when he posted a picture on Instagram showing his frostbitten feet, an injury sustained from wearing improper footwear during cryotherapy. This unusual mishap caused him to miss 10 out of 11 training camp practices, immediately raising concerns about his commitment to his new team. Just as Brown appeared to be recovering from this setback, a new controversy emerged regarding his helmet. Due to NFL policy aimed at phasing out older helmets in favor of newer, safer models, Brown was no longer permitted to wear his preferred headgear. His reaction to this standard safety requirement was anything but standard. Brown clashed vehemently with coaches over the issue, storming out of practice, attempting to sneak his old helmet onto the field, and even trying to paint it to resemble the mandated helmet in hopes of deceiving officials. His resistance reached such an extreme that he threatened to retire if not allowed to continue using his old helmet. The helmet dispute was just the beginning of Brown's tumultuous tenure with the Raiders. On September 4th, 2019, Brown took to social media to share a letter he had received from the team informing him of fines totaling nearly $54,000 for unexcused absences from team activities. Accompanying the posted letter was Brown's defiant commentary: "When your own team want to hate, but there's no stopping me now. Devil is a lie. Everyone got to pay this year, so be clear." This public display of insubordination drew widespread criticism from commentators and fans alike. The following day, tensions escalated dramatically when Brown confronted general manager Mike Mayock on the practice field. Witnesses described the altercation as very ugly, with Brown reportedly calling Mayock a cracker and threatening physical violence, saying he would hit him in his face. The situation became so volatile that teammates, including Vontaze Burfict, ironically, the same player who had delivered the controversial hit to Brown in the 2015 playoff game, had to physically restrain Brown. As a final act of defiance before leaving the field, Brown punted a football and challenged Mayock to fine me for that. Although Brown later apologized for his behavior, the relationship had been irreparably damaged. Upon learning that the Raiders had voided the guaranteed money in his contract due to his conduct, Brown expressed his opinion on social media: "I'm not mad at anyone. I'm asking for the freedom to prove them all wrong. Release me." The Raiders granted his request, releasing him later that day and fining him $215,000 for the altercation with Mayock. Just when it seemed Brown's situation couldn't become more complicated, a serious legal matter emerged. On September 10th, 2019, Brown's former trainer filed a lawsuit accusing him of 3 separate incidents of sexual assault occurring in 2017 and 2018. According to the lawsuit, the first alleged incident took place in June 2017 when Brown exposed himself and kissed the woman without consent at his residence near Pittsburgh. A month later, at his home in Miami, Brown allegedly committed a lewd act near her without her knowledge and later boasted about it in text messages. The most serious allegation stemmed from May 2018, when the former trainer claimed that after a night out at a Miami area club, Brown forced her onto a bed, pushed her face into the mattress, and forcibly raped her. Despite these grave allegations, Brown managed to sign with the New England Patriots, where he was reunited with quarterback Tom Brady. However, his time with the Patriots would be remarkably brief. Additional accusations emerged in an article by Robert Klemko, where an anonymous woman described an uncomfortable encounter while painting a mural at Brown's home. According to her account, Brown approached her while naked, covered only by a small cloth, creating a situation she interpreted as a sexual advance. Though she attempted to focus on her work, Brown subsequently ghosted her, leaving the mural project unfinished. The story took an even darker turn when threatening text messages were allegedly sent from Brown's phone to this woman, accusing her of being financially motivated and requesting that others investigate her background, even including photos of her children. The article also mentioned 3 separate occasions when police were called to Brown's residence due to domestic disturbances. Shortly after these revelations, and having reached a settlement with his former trainer, Brown was released by the Patriots after appearing in just 1 game. Brown's legal troubles continued to mount. In January 2020, he live-streamed an incident on Instagram showing his ex-girlfriend attempting to leave in his Bentley, during which he verbally berated the responding officers from the Hollywood Police Department. This public display of disrespect, coupled with an increasing number of domestic incidents requiring police intervention, severely damaged his relationship with local law enforcement. In a public statement, the Hollywood Police Department revealed they had previously maintained a positive relationship with Brown through their police athletic league, where he had donated money and spent time with children in the program. However, due to his increasingly problematic behavior, they returned his donation and issued him a trespass warning for the league's property, citing concerns about his negative influence on youth. Days later, an arrest warrant was issued for Brown, stemming from a violent incident involving a delivery driver. The confrontation, which was partially captured on video, showed Brown verbally abusing and physically assaulting the driver. The delivery driver later testified in court that Brown had hit the back of my head and shaked me and banged me against the wheel, resulting in injuries including 2 herniated discs. On January 23, 2020, Brown surrendered to authorities, facing charges of felony burglary of a vehicle, misdemeanor battery, and misdemeanor criminal mischief. The legal consequences were substantial: 2 years of probation, over 100 hours of community service, and a court order to pay more than $1 million in damages to the delivery driver. Additionally, on July 31, 2020, the NFL suspended Brown for 8 games for multiple violations of the league's personal conduct policy. Despite this extensive history of behavioral issues and legal problems, Brown's exceptional talent continued to create opportunities in the NFL. On October 27, 2020, he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, reuniting with Tom Brady, who had advocated for him. Shortly after signing, news emerged of another incident in which Brown had destroyed a surveillance camera and allegedly thrown a bicycle at security personnel. Brown's season with the Buccaneers initially appeared to be a redemptive chapter, culminating in a Super Bowl victory. However, on December 2, 2021, he was suspended for 3 games for misrepresenting his COVID-19 vaccination status, having provided a fake vaccination card to the team. The final act of Brown's NFL journey occurred on January 2, 2022, during a game against the New York Jets. In what would become one of the most bizarre scenes in NFL history, Brown removed his jersey and shoulder pads on the sideline, threw his gloves and shirt into the stands, and jogged shirtless across the end zone while the game was still in progress, waving to fans before disappearing into the tunnel. Immediately following this unprecedented display, head coach Bruce Arians confirmed that Brown is no longer a Buck.
We about to play the Jets, and this week I'm really hurt. So I'm taking pictures to the coach, Coach, man, are we gonna win the Super Bowl, man? I think I need to just take these last 2 weeks, at least recover up so I could give you my best when we to the time that mean the most, so we here to win the Super Bowl.
In the aftermath, conflicting accounts emerged regarding the circumstances leading to Brown's departure. According to Brown, he was dealing with a serious ankle injury that required surgery, and when he informed Arians that he couldn't continue playing, the coach told him to leave. Brown later claimed that an MRI revealed broken bone fragments, a ligament torn from the bone, and cartilage loss. Arians, however, disputed this version of events, stating that he had no knowledge of any injury and that Brown's refusal to re-enter the game was due to not receiving enough passes. According to Arians, when he instructed Brown to leave under these circumstances, the receiver's dramatic exit ensued. This incident effectively marked the end of Brown's NFL career, as no team has signed him since that day. The combination of his erratic behavior, legal issues, and the very public nature of his departure from the Buccaneers rendered him too risky an investment for NFL organizations, despite his undeniable talent. The strip club incident and its aftermath. With Antonio Brown's NFL career having come to such a dramatic conclusion in January 2022, rumors and speculation about a potential lifetime ban from the league began to circulate among fans and media alike. To understand the truth behind these claims, we need to examine the actual timeline of events following Brown's departure from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After his mid-game exit, Brown was immediately released by the team. An NFL spokesperson made a statement to ESPN on January 6, 2022, clarifying that Brown would not face league discipline for his actions during the game. This statement indicated that the league viewed the situation as a team matter rather than an issue requiring league-wide disciplinary action. In the months following his release, Brown remained unsigned, with no NFL teams willing to take a chance on the talented but troubled receiver. This period coincided with Brown's transition to other ventures, including his burgeoning music career. It was during this post-NFL phase that the strip club incidents occurred. The first notable strip club appearance came shortly after Brown's release from the Buccaneers. In January 2022, Brown performed his rap song Pit Not the Palace at Sins of Sapphire, a New York City strip club. According to reports, Brown engaged positively with the crowd, dancing and taking pictures with fans. A few months later, in April 2022, Brown made another notable strip club appearance, this time at Booby Trap on the River in Miami. During this visit, which was covered by TMZ, Brown was seen partying with actor Jamie Foxx. The most notable aspect of this appearance was that Brown removed his shirt while on stage, engaging in dancing and rapping as part of the celebration. Fan reactions to these incidents, particularly the strip club appearances, were mixed. On social media platforms like X, formerly Twitter, Some fans expressed amusement at Brown's transition to the entertainment world, while others viewed it as further evidence of his unpredictable behavior. For example, on Twitter, a fan posted on January 3rd, 2022, Antonio Brown releasing a rap song the same day his career ending is the only way AB's career could have ended, suggesting that many fans saw these activities as consistent with his unpredictable personality. Other fans expressed more serious concerns about Brown's mental health, particularly in light of his erratic behavior and the significant hits he had taken during his career. One fan tweeted on January 3rd, 2022, Antonio Brown definitely has CTE. No one in their right mind is ending their NFL career like that, reflecting a broader concern among fans about the potential long-term neurological effects of football-related head trauma. During Brown's most controversial periods, particularly around 2019 to 2020, there were discussions about whether his behavior warranted such a severe penalty, such as a lifetime ban. A 2019 YouTube video from NBC Sports titled PFT Overtime, Will Antonio Brown Get a Lifetime NFL Ban?, directly addressed these concerns, suggesting that his actions, including accusations of inappropriate behavior by a former landlord, could potentially lead to such a penalty. Similarly, a 2021 Sports Illustrated article, Antonio Brown's 3-game suspension, a cowardly move from NFL, argued that Brown should have received a lifetime ban due to his repeated violations, including the settled sexual assault allegation, threatening text to a woman, and his pattern of forcing his way off multiple teams. The most severe official action taken against Brown was the aforementioned 8-game suspension in 2020 for violations of the league's personal conduct policy, as reported by the New York Times. Beyond the strip club appearances and the speculation of a lifetime ban, Brown's post-NFL life has continued to be marked by controversy and legal issues. In October 2022, just months after the Miami strip club incident, Brown was caught on video, exposing himself to a woman and other guests at a public pool at the Armani Hotel Dubai. The footage showed him completely nude, at one point grabbing a woman and slamming her into the pool. According to witnesses, the woman was visibly upset following the incident and complained to hotel staff, resulting in Brown being asked to leave the establishment. During his stay, additional complaints surfaced, including allegations that he smoked marijuana in his room and appeared bare-chested in front of other guests. Later that same month, Brown began publicly criticizing his former teammate and advocate, Tom Brady. He made jokes about Brady's marital problems with then-wife Gisele Bündchen, continuing this pattern of taunting through social media into 2025. As recently as May 1st, 2025, Brown posted a vulgar message on X targeting Bündchen, stating, "Tom Brady tried to hold me back once he realized his wife was on D****K, referencing rumors about her dating life after the divorce. This public criticism of the man who had repeatedly supported him professionally showed a continuing pattern of burning bridges with former allies. In another provocative move, Brown shared a private Instagram direct message from Brady on social media in May 2025. The message showed Brady writing, "Please don't miss your psychologist appointments. Physical, you have mastered. Mental, you are very smart. Emotional, we all need to work on this." Brown captioned the post with skepticism, writing, "Please don't miss psychologist appointments. WTF," seemingly mocking Brady's concern for his mental well-being. Fans responded critically to this breach of privacy, calling Brown delusional, obsessed, and embarrassing, while noting the irony of him posting about psychological help while publicly displaying such concerning behavior. On December 1st, 2022, an arrest warrant was issued for Brown on charges of domestic violence. According to court documents, the mother of 4 of his children alleged that he had locked her out of her Tampa residence, thrown out her belongings, threatened to shoot her, and thrown a shoe at her. When Tampa Bay police arrived at the scene, Brown reportedly refused their request to exit the house, creating a standoff situation. Just over a month later, on January 17th, 2023, Brown's Snapchat account was suspended after he posted an explicit sexual photo of Chelsea Kyrus, the mother of his children. While Brown claimed his account had been hacked, Kyrus expressed her distress over the situation and indicated she had repeatedly asked Brown to keep their private matters out of the public eye. Later in 2023, Brown made a surprising claim regarding his mental health when he accused former Pittsburgh Steelers teammate James Harrison of giving him CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, due to a hit he received during practice. Brown alleged that Harrison had been wearing an illegal helmet when delivering the blow. This accusation came as a stark contradiction to Brown's previous statements, in which he had vehemently denied the possibility that he might have developed CTE throughout his 12-year NFL career.
So you trying to say I'm diagnosed with CTE from a hit? Like I don't. People are the same thing I walked off the field for that I didn't want to get. CTE, it's the same thing they put on me to say I got CTE to crazy.
I wanted to tell you guys that I think James Harrison gave me CTE, and he hit me one time,
And ever since he hit me, I've been super aggressive.
In March 2023, Brown embarked on a new venture, becoming part owner of the Albany Empire, an arena football league team that his father had played for throughout his career. However, this business endeavor would quickly unravel, mirroring the pattern of chaos that had characterized his later NFL years. The ownership structure soon became a point of contention, with Brown initially owning 47.5% of the team but claiming he owned 100%, a claim denied by his fellow owners. The situation grew increasingly confusing when it was later suggested that Brown didn't own the team at all, but rather that it was owned by a separate entity. Brown attempted to clarify the situation with a cryptic and bewildering statement. I, Brown Antonio Tavares, a foreign national but not a citizen of the United States at birth, am writing to you regarding recent reports that have been circulating in the media regarding my supposed ownership of the Albany Empire team. I want to make it very clear that I am not the owner of this team, and any claims to the contrary are completely false. This statement, filled with inaccuracies and bizarre claims, only served to further muddy the waters regarding his involvement with the team. The operational aspects of the Empire under Brown's influence were equally chaotic. On June 3, 2023, Brown was reportedly ejected from a hotel where the Albany Empire was staying due to complaints about loud music and marijuana smoke. More significantly, according to multiple reports, players and staff weren't receiving their payments as recently as late April of that year, leading to the departure of head coach Damon Ware. The final blow came on June 15, 2023, when Brown and the Albany Empire were expelled from the Arena Football League due to failure to pay bills. This pattern of financial mismanagement would become a defining aspect of Brown's post-NFL life. In May 2024, he filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, revealing debts of nearly $3 million to 8 creditors, including over $100,000 in credit card debt, $296 to a plumber, and unpaid wages to private chefs and moving companies, totaling up to $38,000. Despite earning well over $100 million throughout his career between NFL contracts and endorsements, Brown claimed his assets were worth just $50,000 or less, admitting, "I think I made $100 million if you count off the field and everything. I just filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, you feel me? I spent all of it. I blew all my money. I blew everything." However, financial analysis by Tyler Webb suggested that Brown retired with approximately $50 million in 2021 after taxes, which was subsequently lost due to lawsuits, attorney fees, and poor financial decisions, including losing at least 3 six-figure civil suits he was unable to pay. Throughout all these post-NFL controversies and financial struggles, questions about Brown's mental health have persisted. In a 2022 interview on CBS Mornings with Nate Burleson, Brown addressed these concerns directly, stating, "I never had a mental health diagnosis," and emphasizing, "I never had an issue or problem. I don't take pills. I just got a high IQ." This statement represented his effort to counter speculation about potential issues like CTE, which many had suggested might explain his erratic behavior. Brown vs. history. It's worth noting that Brown is far from the only NFL player to have his career derailed by off-field controversies. Numerous other athletes have faced similar career-ending circumstances due to legal issues, violence, and substance abuse problems. One prominent example is Ray Rice, whose NFL career came to an immediate halt in 2014 after video emerged showing him assaulting his then-fiancée in an elevator. Despite being just 27 years old and having made 3 Pro Bowls, Rice never played another down in the NFL. Though his indefinite suspension was eventually overturned through appeal, no team was willing to sign him, effectively ending his career without an official lifetime ban. Similarly, Aaron Hernandez saw his promising career terminate abruptly when he was arrested in 2013 for the murder of Odin Lloyd. The New England Patriots immediately released him following the arrest, and he never played again, later being convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Tragically, Hernandez committed suicide in 2017, and posthumous examination revealed he suffered from an advanced case of CTE, raising questions about the relationship between brain trauma and behavior. A more recent case is Henry Ruggs III, whose career effectively ended in 2021 following a fatal car crash caused by driving under the influence. The Las Vegas Raiders released him immediately after the incident, and his subsequent legal troubles, including a prison sentence of 3 and 10 years, have all but guaranteed he will never play in the NFL again. What these cases share with Brown is not necessarily an official lifetime ban from the league, but rather the unwillingness of teams to assume the risk associated with signing players whose behavior represents a significant liability, both in terms of team cohesion and public relations. The NFL, as a business dependent on public goodwill and corporate sponsorships, is particularly sensitive to player conduct that might alienate fans or partners. Another crucial aspect of Brown's story concerns the potential role of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, his behavioral changes. CTE is a progressive and fatal brain disease associated with repeated traumatic brain injuries, including concussions and repeated blows to the head. Research from Boston University has found that out of 376 former NFL players studied posthumously, 345 had CTE. The hit Brown sustained during the 2015 wildcard game against the Cincinnati Bengals is often cited as a potential turning point in his behavior. After taking a vicious blow from Vontaze Burfict, Brown later reported that he had lost consciousness before hitting the ground. While coaches recalled seeing him smiling and talking on the sideline afterward, Brown himself had no memory of these interactions. Symptoms of CTE include cognitive impairment, memory loss, impulsive behavior, aggression, depression, emotional instability, substance misuse, and suicidal thoughts, many of which appear consistent with Brown's erratic behavior in the latter stages of his career. Notably, several former NFL players whose behavior spiraled in concerning ways were later found to have CTE, including Aaron Hernandez, after just 3 years in the NFL. An alternative explanation for Brown's behavior, offered by his former teammate Ryan Clark, focuses on the psychological impact of sudden wealth and fame. Clark suggests that once Brown secured his first major contract, his personality underwent a significant change. The former safety recounts how Brown's attitude shifted, leading to increasingly disrespectful behavior toward coaches, teammates, and friends. This perspective frames Brown's decline not as the result of neurological damage, but as a manifestation of unchecked ego and narcissism. Summarizing the various accounts of those who interacted with Brown, a pattern emerges of a superstar athlete adapting to a celebrity lifestyle, a man who rose from poverty and obscurity in Miami to national prominence and substantial wealth, only to develop a habit of insulting, attacking, and betraying people he perceived as beneath his station. This narrative aligns with the sudden wealth syndrome observed in numerous athletes and lottery winners who struggle to adjust to rapid financial and social status changes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.